Good morning. Welcome to Stock Market Today. It is Friday, January 10th, 2020, and I am your host, Dan Russo, the Chief Market Strategist at Chaikin Analytics. You can find me on Twitter. I'm at Dan Russo _CMT. Stock Market Today brought to you today and every day by Chaikin Analytics. Head over to chaikinanalytics.com/today. Sign up for a free email where we get a lot of the content for this show, as well as give you daily stock ideas to consider. It hits your inbox every trading day before the market opened. So U.S. equities finished higher in Thursday's trading. Most sectors were higher on the day. Technology, energy, and financials were the leaders. REITs, materials, and comm services were the worst relative performers. Treasuries were unchanged to slightly stronger. The dollar was stronger versus the yen, but relatively flat against the euro. Gold finished down 40 basis points after breaking a 10-day winning streak on a Wednesday. WTI crude settled up 10 basis points. As we get to the desk this morning, futures are up 30 basis points. And that's following the release of the December jobs report, which was expected to show that the economy added 160,000 jobs in the month. It looks like the report came in at 145,000 jobs. Not seeing too much action in the futures markets. Asian markets were mostly higher overnight. European markets are higher as well. Treasuries are mixed. The dollar is stronger versus both the yen and the euro. Gold is down 30 basis points to start the day, and WTI crude is off a like amount, 30 basis points to get us going on a Friday morning. So what did we have yesterday? Record close for the S&P 500 as it made quick work of that near-term 3250 resistance level that we were highlighting. Near-term support in the 3150 to 3200 range still holds, and now, I mean, really, there's no price-based resistance at new highs, right? By definition, we're at new highs. We can't have any price-based resistance if we're at those new high levels. RSI is in bullish ranges and back to overbought levels. The rally yesterday taking the RSI to a little over 71. Chaikin money flow remains bullish. So it appears that the market is quickly shaken off the geopolitical risks as those tensions promptly ease. The trend in the market remains higher, confirmed by the indicators, right? RSI is holding in bullish ranges, coming overbought, confirming the strength of the trend. Chaikin money flow remaining bullish. Obviously here above the now a rising 200-day moving average, which is much lower, down at the 2980 level. So we continue to stay the course. Bullish and very bullish stocks in leading areas of the market when those stocks become oversold. What are we writing about in our note to Chaikin Analytics clients today? Well, the SPY and the Qs closed at record highs yesterday. FANG stocks break out of a 16-month consolidation. In my note to clients, I have an index that I've built of Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, and Google. And after really going sideways for almost a year and a half, 16 months, it has now broken topside. And that has led to a spike in growth versus value. Technology is strong leadership, and semiconductors are trading near relative highs. You know the importance that I place on that group. Futures point to a higher open with the jobs report on deck and now out. Let's look at the power bars for the major indices. Strong day yesterday. Dow up 74 basis points, takes the power bar back to even, 6 bulls, 6 bears. S&P 500 up 66 basis points, 123 bulls to 60 bears. In that group, the NASDAQ was an outperformer. It's been an outperformer. 29 to 3 bulls to bears for the NASDAQ market. Small caps, relative underperformer, higher on the day, but an underperformer. 653 to 248 bulls to bears on the small cap IWM ETF. Bonds uptick, sending yields lower. Tech, big outperformer on the day, up 1.13%. Check out the power bar ratio for technology, 25 to 0 bulls to bears. According to the Chaikin power bar, small cap stocks and large cap stocks are bullish. Major markets are mixed. Let's hit our stock of the day now. Speaking of semiconductors, speaking of names that we've been talking about a lot, Micron, 57.31, closed down 36 basis points yesterday, so bucking the trend in a strong tape. Ticker symbol MU has a very bullish Chaikin power gauge rating due to very strong price volume activity, very positive expert activity, attractive financial metrics, and strong earnings performance. Let's take a look at the chart here from Microsoft. There's your bullish rating after we crunched the 20 factors overnight. Strong trend, strong industry group. By now, you should know my thoughts on the semis. Micron is a very bullish stock that is outperforming the market. Now, the overbought, oversold indicator is rounding higher after just touching oversold conditions. The real hang up that I have on Micron here in the near term is money flow. I get a little skeptical when stocks are trading near a high with bearish money flow. That's a sign that investors are using strength to maybe take some profits in the stock. Look, something similar happened back in the September timeframe, right? Micron broke out, money flow was bearish, and then we promptly had this gap lower, right, which then set up a great opportunity. So in terms of chasing Micron here up near all-time highs, I'd go into it with a little bit of caution just because I don't like the fact that that money flow is turning bearish with the stock at all-time highs. If money flow turns bearish as the stock is selling off, that's one thing, especially if it then tests a support level. But with money flow going bearish with the stock moving higher, that's a warning sign to me, just something to be aware of with Microsoft here. Let's look at our sector tracker now, the movement of the major sectors over the last 5 days. Comms still up near the top of the list or at the top of the list. A lot of strength in some of those FANG names that we've been talking about. Technology, tech at the number 2 slot, continues to outperform, largely the best relative trend in the market as far as I am concerned. Utilities, a little surprising to see utilities move up to the top of the list. Healthcare, industrial staples, REITs, and discretionary are all higher over the past 5 days. Financials have come under some pressure of late as rates have backed off, and energy continues to be an area of the market where we're not ready yet, right? We've been talking about it a lot, just not ready to jump on the energy bandwagon just yet. The trend seems to be decelerating to the downside, but not enough there to get us excited on the bullish side. And materials, we actually wrote about materials last week in our note, and they just continue to fall out of bed. Materials, big underperformer of late. Let's look at our industry in focus now. Innovative tech services. All right, so sticking with the technology group, today's show is going to be heavy on technology. Over the past 6 months, innovative tech services subsector XITK, the ticker symbol, has outperformed the S&P 500 by 1.11%. And its power bar ratio, which measures future potential, is strong, with more bullish than bearish stocks. It's currently ranked number 13 of 21 subsectors, and it has moved up 3 slots over the past week. So some of the names that are holdings in this fund that may warrant further attention, well, we already touched on Micron. Look at Insight Enterprises, NSIT, as well as Form Factor. Form Factor semiconductor stock there, both of those with very bullish shake and power gauge ratings. And let's take a look. XITK is the fund. It has a bullish ETF power gauge rating. Strong trend, strong industry group. Look at the consolidation and then breakout. This is just a textbook breakout from a consolidation pattern. Resistance here in the call at 113 area. Rising trend line, folks. If you're into classical charting, this is an ascending triangle from which we have now broken top side. Bullish ETF, now outperforming the market. And money flow has been mostly bullish since September and now turning bullish once again after a brief slip into bearish territory. So if you're looking for long ideas within the marketplace, you can take a fund like XITK and drill down on its holdings. There are 22 bullish or very bullish stocks on which you can do further work. Turning now to what's trending. Yesterday's S&P 500 gainers and losers are movers and shakers. L Brands up 4.5% after they reported holiday comps. Align caught an upgrade, sent that stock higher by 3.7% on the day. Didn't see any real news in Ball, BLL, very bearish rating, rallies 3.5% on the day. Same goes for Abiomed, up 2.75%. Didn't see anything company specific. That stock has been volatile. We've seen it on both sides of the board of late. Huntington Ingalls, HII, nothing company specific. Aerospace and defense stocks have come on strong of late. HII actually trading to a new 52-week high yesterday. On the loser side of the board, a lot of retail and consumer discretionary names. Kohl's, KSS out with their holiday comps and lowering and their guidance. Kohl's down 6.5% on that news. Gap, GPS, didn't see any news there. Some of the retailers under pressure. Gap down 3.5%. Same goes for Capri, down 3.37%. Nothing company specific on the news front, but that stock lower with the group. Under Armour rounds out. Kramer had some comments this week on the group, wanted to see more signs of a turnaround. I don't necessarily know if that's what weighed on the stock yesterday, but it was down 3.13%. And Arconic, there was a note out from JP Morgan yesterday, took that stock lower by a little over 3% on the day. Let's take a look now at the charts. What are we focused on today? I told you we were going to be tech heavy, and here's the cues. And I'm highlighting it just because I'm highlighting it in my note. This is solid leadership amongst the major market averages, right? If you're just kind of looking for trends in the marketplace, QQQ is in a solid uptrend. I've given you the trend line here, right? Above a rising 200-day moving average, very similar to the S&P 500, but it's outperforming. It's going up faster. Take a look at the RSI for the Qs, right? After just barely becoming oversold back in August, we've had a series of higher lows for the RSI, and we've now pushed into overbought territory. So what does that tell us? That tells us that there's solid momentum behind this price strength for the ETF. I mean, are we overbought? Yes, we're overbought. I mean, could we potentially see a little bit of a slowdown? Yes, we could see a little bit of a slowdown, but the point is momentum is confirming the price strength that we are seeing here in the Q. So as I'm thinking about where I want to focus for long ideas, I think you take a fund like QQQ, you look at its holdings and drill down on some of the key names there that are outperforming the market, that have bullish money flow, right? And try to identify those names when they become oversold. And taking a look at the Qs on a relative basis, I mean, this is solid leadership, right? Nice breakout at the end of last year and continuing to move higher. So Qs are an area of the market where we want to be focused for bullish ideas. And with that, right, we've seen a spike in growth versus value of late. Now, I talked about the FANG stocks. Like I said in my note, I built a custom index of Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, and Google, and it's broken topside from a 16-month consolidation. And that strength in these big growth names has caused a spike now in growth versus value. And it's interesting because a lot of investors, myself included, were starting to focus on the fact that growth was beginning to lag value. And it looked like after a long period of underperformance, value was going to start to come on. Well, that thought is now being tested, right? Taking a look at the Vanguard S&P 500. So we're focused on large caps for this analysis. The Vanguard S&P 500 growth ETF relative to the Vanguard S&P 500 value ETF. Here's what I was talking about, right? Here's growth outperforming value up until, September of last year. And then value started to outperform, right? We saw this big decline in this ratio, took out the 200-day moving average to the point where the 200-day moving average is now declining. Well, all of a sudden, we have this big spike higher with the FANG names breaking out, right? Look at names like Google, look at names like Amazon, Facebook, Apple, right? Even Microsoft, we could throw into that group, all moving higher. So the big names in the growth complex are moving higher. That's leading to near-term outperformance on the part of growth versus value. So much so that we went from registering oversold conditions to quickly registering in overbought conditions. So there appears to be some momentum behind this near-term strength, and all of that playing out, as I showed you earlier, as the Qs break topside against the SPY, right? So if we're focused on ideas, again, just another data point that tells us we want to be focused on the Qs for bullish ideas. Now we'll see what happens here. We're testing resistance. We're testing the now declining 200-day moving average, and so this will be a real test. Are we going to break through and see a reassertion of growth over value, or do we fade here? And does value step up and begin to outperform growth? It's hard to say at this point. I think it's something we want to watch, but when I'm looking for ideas, I think we want to be paying attention to what's going on amongst the large caps in the growth space. And now technology, speaking of, I told you we were going to be heavy on technology today, and we are. Here's XLK relative to the SPY, and this remains the best relative trend in my opinion, right? Taking a look here, tech takes out the 200-day moving average back early last year, February, March timeframe, and just continues to march higher. Now, you've heard me talk about technology on this show. You've heard me talk about the semiconductors. We continue want to be focused there, right? Here's the ratio. Breakout above the 200-day moving average. RSI overbought. Nice, steady, absolute trend. We want to be focused on tech. That's going to wrap us up for today. Have a great weekend, everyone. I'll be back on Monday.